Hello, geeks. This is the officially unofficial geek channel. I am Carrie Quinn, and this is your weekly comic roundup. And I am here to talk to you about comics as quickly as possible, as spoiler free as possible. We like to take a spoiler light approach here. So yeah, let's do this. Let's go ahead and get into this right now. The first comic I'm going to talk to you about this week that I read is Wonder Woman 777. Yep. Okay, guys. We celebrated too quickly, it appears. Wonder Woman and friends are not on Diana's Earth, but they're actually on Earth 11, which is funny. We get like this whole explanation about how the Earths are numbered, and to her it's Earth 11, but to them it's not. A world where basically the Justice League, it's called the Justice Guild, excuse me, it's mostly female characters of the typical, like female versions of the typical Justice League. So you have a Superwoman, you have, a Batwoman, that kind of thing. It's not like the Batwomans that you know in the regular Batwoman continuity, but it's different. It's basically take all the members of the Justice League and make them female, because, well, the main members of the Justice League, and make them female. There was no Black Canary in there that was male. It was just women. So Martian Manhunter is a woman, and so on and so forth. Okay, so except there was a Wonder Man, except it's not going through as named Wonder Man. The version of Wonder Woman on this Earth, Earth 11, is a dude, and he's like a jerk dude, and they put him in prison, So like when they go through the Hall of Justice, there's one with its head chopped off. That's him. So he happens to be enlisted by Janice to wreak havoc. Lots more fun and action in this one. Don't get me wrong. But the afterworld stuff, we need to move on this, or at least form a pattern for people here involving what's going on, because she's moved on to some other world already in this issue. So it's like a little bit uneven here, and it's like, okay, guys, so when is she finally coming back to Earth? We did get a lot more action. There was fighting with Janice in this, and it was really cool. It's what I've been asking for the last couple issues. So that's good. That's good. That's good. But yeah, so moving on, we have the next comic we're going to talk about is Batman 89. Okay, great. So as you guys know, like my comic videos, if you're new here, you don't know this, so that's why I'm going to explain it. For those of you that have watched, I kind of like order the comics from my least favorite to my comic pick of the week. Here, a lot of times we end up, unless I'm really panning something, most of the time I'm enjoying most of the things that I'm reading. Here is Batman 89, and in some ways it was really good. I really enjoyed it. In other ways, it was kind of odd to me. Harvey Dent got engaged on Halloween, and to Barbara Gordon. So, okay, I'll go with it. So Dent, he's decided that he's going to go after Jim Gordon, his fiance's father, and Batman, and he goes to look for help from Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is actually, it's really cool because it's a continuation of Batman with Michael Keaton, which is like probably one of the greatest superhero films ever made. So it's a continuation of what would have happened there. So Bruce rejects him because, well, he's Batman. And for obvious reasons, Bruce rejects the idea of helping Harvey Dent do you know, what he's going to do to get Batman and Jim Gordon out of, like, power? Like, I don't know. Air quotes on that one because, I mean, who's really in power here? No one. And so we've got like different things happening. I kind of like the idea of Bruce Wayne, Batman, being the kind of guy that seemed like he was going to let someone go because they didn't steal money. And that was pretty cool. I did like that. I like that dynamic. It's really cool. So, yeah. Moving on. And it's a limited series. It's not like, you know, you're going to be taking too much time, you know, reading it. So, and it seems like it's moving towards a way to be really interesting, and I'm going to keep reading it. It's pretty good. So the next comic that we're going to talk about is Justice League Last Ride. Okay, guys, so this is pretty good. Shit's getting real here. Um, so it's about to go down. Shit's about to go down. Shit's getting real, and there's a really sad flashback where we get to find out. We get some answers about what everyone's pissed off at Batman for. You know what? Actually, nobody's really. The only person that's really pissed off at Batman is Superman. It seems. But he's pretty. We get more information about Martian Manhunter's death and what happened and how that all went down. And then we get back into the present tense of the story, and everybody's doing their part to deal with the impending battle. Wonder Woman and Green Lantern, well, the Green Lanterns are the first line of defense here in space. They're out in space, and it's like, okay, everything is starting to come in. There's people on the ground coming at Superman and the Flash. There's people in the air coming in at Wonder Woman and Green Lantern. Batman's doing his thing with the other Green Lantern. It's ooh, there's all kinds of stuff happening there, and it's all pretty cool. And it's like, cool, you guys are really starting to groove now. Oh my goodness. So the next stop that we have to talk about, I'm looking at my notes here. I like to take notes after I read each issue so that I know what I'm talking about, you know? Um, so the next thing we're going to talk about here is Batman Detective Comics 1041. Okay, so we've got retro Batman on patrol here. All this stuff that's been going on with Mr. Worth and the Penguin and them working together and everything happening involving Bruce Wayne, Batman, everything together has really, Mr. Worth and his people and Penguin's people have really been going around and finding all of Batman's secret little like sewer layers and destroying everything. You know, it's not enough that Mr. Worth is like sitting there blowing up half of Gotham. He's also done all this because he has a vendetta against Batman and Bruce Wayne, and at this time he still knows that he thinks they are both separate. That's good. So Penguin and Worth and all their rowdy friends are holding a little get together in which Batman in his retro seat, because that's the only one he can find right now because everything else is getting destroyed. Um, well, they've invited him to meet with the jury. It's just basically these people that already think he's guilty. So, woohoo, okay. You know, jury, sure. So everything starts getting jacked up by Worth and Penguin, and there's big, you know, everything that happens. Um, so Batman is the guest of honor at this little get together. They've got their plans already. So it looks like it's about to get gross, and Huntress is on her way. She's on the kit. She's on the case, babies. She is on her way. If you read the Batman Secret Case Files, Huntress 1, you already kind of knew that she was on her way to help Batman because he bloody needs it. Okay, because he's getting bloody. All right. Anywho. There's a second tale in this, and I did read it because it involves my comic boyfriend. There's this series, Task Force Z, that's coming out that I've been reading about, and some people have been reading about, I'm sure. That's going to be involving, um, a lot of, they're really using Jason Todd and Red Hood, like in a lot of stuff lately, and I'm here for it. And this is another circumstance where they're going to be using Jason Todd and Red Hood. And if you look at any of the previews or anything like that, you're going to see that he's going to be involved in this story. But the thing is about this story, in particular, the second story in this issue, is mostly Deb Donovan has been, uh, our girl Deb. Yeah, I love Deb Donovan. Okay, I probably love Deb Donovan more than I should, or more than there's any reason to. But she's here, and I'm here for it. So Deb has been slipped a note asking about, well, where are all the dead bodies going? And so she goes looking for answers. And when she is done with all of it, and she almost gets killed in the whole process, she ends up back at her apartment, and she's kind of rolling things over in her head. We have a guest star with Vicky Vale. Yeah, okay, this is all retro party, and I love it. So Vicky Vale is there. She meets with Vicky Vale. She goes back to her apartment. She's thinking over everything that's happened and everything she's seen and the notes she got, and how, sometimes the story finds you. And there's somebody in her apartment eating all of her breakfast food. And I'm going to let you guys check out the story to find out who that is, because it's kind of cool. Anywho, we're going to move right along, and we're going to tell you about Infinite Frontier #4. Guys, this is pretty cool. Things are starting to cook in this one too. Okay, it was a pretty good issue. I really enjoyed it. I don't even really know, regardless of it being really good and really entertaining, I don't even really know where to start, because we're dealing with so many different universes, so many different Earths and everything like that. It's like, holy shit, what the fuck's going on? And I think that's the point. There are people that, okay, so here, let me try to nutshell this one for y'all. Okay, there are people that want to figure out what's going on with the different universes, and there are beings that want to stop the intermingling of the universes. There's a Black Lantern that just found out that his daughter's alive, and there's Darkseid and a bunch of other stuff. I'm not gonna give everything away, because it's one of those things where it's like you gotta kind of just sit there and be like, okay, guys, all this shit's involved, and you're just gonna have to go figure it out for yourself, because if you say too much, you're giving away too much, possibly. And I'm just gonna, holy shit, we're just gonna roll with this one. We're finally starting to roll, and it's gonna be really cool. So there's people that want things to happen. There's people that don't want things to happen. There's a Black Lantern that really has no freaking clue what he's doing. And Darkseid's all up in that business. So, all right. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. And if I say more, I'll be saying too much. So let's move on to the Joker, #6. Yes. The Joker has left South America and Central America and has headed to Europe. Wow. Okay. See, this is a circumstance where I don't hate the near constant narrative. A lot of times, you'll find that if you watch me, I have problems with internalized narrative. I'm really picky about it, because I really think there's a time and place for a narrative, and sometimes people use it too much, and sometimes people use it just right. And this is one of those circumstances where there's a lot of narrative usually, but I'm okay with it because of what it is. So there's a lot going on here. And we do get some background information on the Samson family. So there's more information there in regards to that, to give you a little bit more information. It's all very Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's probably where the inspiration came from for this. I would not be surprised at all. But Jim has followed the Joker to Paris, and he feels pretty out of place. And you do get a little bit of a narrative of him talking about that and why he feels out of place. And his out of place feeling is definitely not helped by the ending here. So I'm going to let you guys chime in on that one and let me know what you think. But yeah, his out of place feeling is not helped with what happens at the end. But as always, I love the Joker. It's been great run so far, and I'm here for it. I Am Batman Zero is next what we're going to be talking about. This is pretty cool, and there's not a lot to it, but it's still really good. It's just basically Jace Fox is kind of working out in his head what he's doing with this knowledge and what his past knowledge and his experience. How is that, what is he going to do with this? Okay. So it's basically John Ridley is it's a continuation of the miniseries The Next Batman Second Son, which I did read all of and I did enjoy. And I'm really enjoying the Jace Fox stuff. So basically Jace is thinking about his past and his present converging, and realizing that it takes more than putting on a suit to be Batman. Being Batman is not reason or motivation enough. He has to figure out what kind of Batman he is. And that's basically the gist of what you're dealing with here with I Am Batman Zero. I'm really liking that. I'm, as always, really enjoying the Jace Fox story, and I'm here for it, guys. So we got 2 more comics left to talk about. The next one that I'm going to talk about, this was something that I was actually really anticipating and really excited to read based off of previews that I've read, based off of the ending of the last one. But we have Future State Gotham #4. And it's wonderful. We're still doing the whole black and white manga thing, and I love it. I'm here for it. I am enjoying that very much so. We're taking a little bit of a time break from the Peacekeeper Red and the Next Batman kind of tale, and we are now dealing with Harley Quinn versus Punchline. Switching gears a bit, have Harley Quinn versus Punchline rematch. Round 2. Excuse me. No. For them, it's like round 3 or 4. Fight. Yeah. Round 4. Fight. It doesn't happen like that. Okay. So it seems like there's like more things happening in this than I think people will like realize, because holy shit, it's kind of setting things up for something else, and it's giving us clues to outcomes and possible futures of other stories. So there is a bomb dropped at the end a little bit. It's like a small bomb dropped at the end. And the reaction that Harley has and what Harley does in the end really kind of does, hit it home that it is like a little bomb just fucking went off behind her. Like I said, we're continuing the black and white art style, and perhaps it's very manga style, and perhaps due to the players involved, it's even more like magnified, and I love it. It's very anime manga style, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I know some people have been torn on it. I love this shit. I love it. It's great. And we've got all that Harley versus Punchline action. You got somebody else getting in on the action, and where the position the victor is in and the decision that they make, it's really just like, okay, all right, this character is where and still continues to be where I would like them to be, and I'm over the moon about that. So, okay, guys, so here we go. We've got my comic of the week, and I really love this one. and we're going to talk about it right now. It's Batman Urban Legends number 6. Guys, so okay. All right. So we've got the finalization of the cheer drops storyline. It's my comic book boyfriend, Red Hood. He gets to be totally epic. Zealot, Zealot, yeah, Zealot is going after Maxwell Lord, in a flashback dressed as Wonder Woman, only to have Wonder Woman show up. Wow. It's kind of a flashback kind of story, kind of sets it up more for more Wildcats action. That's pretty cool. Tim Drake saves his friend Bernard and other kids from the creepy child sacrifice ring and comes to realize something about himself. And Black Canary, well, the girlfriend going undercover and has some interesting things going on. This 6th installment ended with 2 stories in a happy way and brought 2 new stories. It's fantastic, and we're getting more action, like I said, from the other Wildcats besides Grifter, so that's good. I'm hoping that they're really shaping something up to give the Wildcats a new series under DC, considering it is something that is artist owned by Jim Lee. So I'm looking forward to whenever that's going to start, because that's going to be good. So I'm gonna actually do something here. Instead of doing a longer video this week where I'm talking about, we're gonna try something different. Okay, so instead of doing a longer video where I'm gonna talk about all of the comics I read in detail, we're gonna do actually just a video where I talk about the stories in my comic of the week. In a little bit more detail here. That's going to be probably spoiler-tastic, laden with spoilers, and I don't want to get into too much here because I think that there's some really interesting, wonderful things that happen in this comic that can be talked about if you've read it. And so you can stay tuned for that. That will be coming up very soon. But anyways, that's the comics for this week. I hope you enjoyed the comics you read, and I want you guys to do all the normal YouTube things, like, share, subscribe, comment, tell me what you thought of the comics this week that you read, tell me what you thought of the comics I read, or maybe recommend a comic to me. Visit and make sure that you treat your local comic book shop like the kings that they are. And you know what? Just keep on reading, keep on living, keep on being kind to each other. And yeah, that's the officially unofficial geek channel. I am your host, Carrie Quinn, as always, and this has been our weekly comic roundup for the week of August 10th. Thank you guys, and be safe out there. Bye.